The first light of dawn washed over the gleaming streets of Westwood, a quiet, affluent neighborhood on the edge of Los Angeles. This story shows the bond between law enforcement and their four-legged partners in a heart-stopping moment you won't want to miss. Stay tuned for the full story, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more amazing tales. The crisp September morning promised another hot day, but for now, the air was still cool with a faint breeze that ruffled the leaves of the perfectly manicured trees. Officer Emma Harris sat behind the wheel of her patrol car, adjusting the air conditioning to the perfect temperature as her K-9 partner, Titan, sat in the back seat, alert and watchful. Titan, a sharp-eyed Belgian Malinois, had been Emma's partner for almost 5 years, a bond forged through countless cases and life-saving moments. His amber eyes never missed a detail, and Emma had learned to trust his instincts without question. As she glanced at him in the rearview mirror, Titan's attention was focused on the passing streetlights, his demeanor calm yet aware. Suddenly, the radio crackled to life, snapping Emma from her thoughts. Unit K-912, we have a report of a missing person at 4632 Belair Drive. The husband says his wife never returned home last night. No signs of forced entry at the residence. Over. Emma's hands tightened on the steering wheel as she looked at Titan once again. Missing persons calls were rare for the K-9 unit, but something in the dispatcher's voice told her that this case wasn't routine. She flicked on the lights without the sirens, wanting to avoid drawing attention in the quiet neighborhood. As they turned onto Belair Drive, Emma noticed a shift in Titan's behavior. The dog's usual composed posture had changed. His ears shot forward, and his body tensed in a way Emma immediately recognized. Something was wrong. They passed by large estates with high hedges and pristine lawns, but Emma's eyes were on Titan, reading his every movement. The house at the end of the street stood out even in this neighborhood. A massive, modern mansion with sleek glass windows, clean lines, and immaculately trimmed hedges. But something about it didn't sit right with Emma. It looked almost too perfect, like a facade hiding something beneath it. Titan whined softly, and Emma's gut tightened. As she parked the patrol car, she saw a man standing at the front door. He was in his late 30s, wearing a crisp white shirt, but the dark circles under his eyes and the disheveled look betrayed his troubled state. "Officer Harris, thank God you're here," the man said in a strained voice. His words rushed. "My wife, Julia, she's gone. I haven't heard from her since last night. I've been calling everyone." Emma's hand rested lightly on the door handle, but before she could step out of the car, Titan growled, low and menacing. Emma froze, her instincts flaring. In all her years of service, Titan had never reacted this way toward a civilian. She looked back at the man, whose nervous twitching and tense posture confirmed her suspicion. Something wasn't right. "Take me through the last time you saw her, Mr. Harper," Emma said, keeping her voice calm but stern. Her mind raced, considering the possibility that this could be a domestic issue. Domestic violence cases often turn dangerous quickly, and the first suspect was always the spouse. "It was normal," Mr. Harper responded quickly, his voice quivering. "We had dinner, watched some TV, and then went to bed. When I woke up this morning, she was gone. Her car's still here. Her phone's on the nightstand. Julia wouldn't just leave. She wouldn't do this." Emma's gaze shifted to Titan, who was now pulling at his harness, body rigid, nose working the air. The dog's behavior was growing more intense. Titan wasn't just alert. He was detecting something, and it wasn't just stress from the husband. Without thinking, Emma said, "Mr. Harper, I'm going to need to check around the house." His fingers twitched visibly, but he nodded. Of course, anything to help find her. Titan led Emma toward the side of the house, where the dog stopped in front of a particular section of the wall. He sat down abruptly, fixating on a spot with unwavering focus. His low growls resonated with urgency, unlike anything Emma had heard before. "This is strange," Mr. Harper said in a barely audible tone, his voice cracking. "Titan's been acting off all morning. Maybe he's picking up on my stress. Emma's instincts screamed at her to trust Titan. The dog's reaction was far from ordinary. As she ran her hand along the wall, she noticed something disturbing. Fresh paint, slightly different in texture from the rest of the house. A quick glance at the ground revealed faint scuff marks near the bottom, as if something had been scraped against it. The perfect facade of the house suddenly felt hollow. Titan's barking grew more insistent, each bark more desperate than the last. "We need additional units here," Emma said into her radio, her voice calm but firm. "Requesting backup and CSI. Something's wrong." Mr. Harper's face shifted at the mention of a search. Fear replaced concern, and his agitation was unmistakable. "Is that really necessary? She'll come back." Women get emotional. They just need space. The walls of his calm facade began to crack as Titan's bark echoed through the quiet neighborhood like an alarm. Emma felt the eyes of neighbors peering out from behind curtains, drawn by the commotion. She kept her eyes fixed on Mr. Harper, whose anxiety was now palpable. "Mr. Harper," Emma said, her hand instinctively moving to her holster, "step away from the house." Her calm voice contrasted with the tension building in the air as the sirens of backup units approached in the distance. Titan's bark seemed to fill the entire street. Emma noticed subtle details that had eluded her earlier. A slight discoloration of the wall, scratch marks near the bottom, the same spot where Titan was focused. She knew then that her dog was trying to tell her something. The case had taken a turn. Unit K912 requesting a search warrant for the property. Emma spoke into the radio. She kept her eyes on Mr. Harper, his body language now visibly betraying his fear. As they awaited the search warrant, the morning sun climbed higher in the sky, casting a warm glow over the scene. But the heat of the day did little to dissipate the chill that had settled over Emma. A few hours later, the search warrant arrived, and Emma stood beside Titan, his body stiff with anticipation. As the battering ram hit the wall, it cracked open with a thunderous noise, revealing a hidden compartment behind the newly painted section. Inside the dark, cramped space, they found Julia Harper, alive, but barely. Her eyes were wide with fear, her clothes dirty, and her body frail from dehydration. He said no one would find me," she whispered, her voice hoarse and broken. Titan's focus never wavered. He stood at attention, watching Mr. Harper, whose facade had crumbled completely. His eyes were cold, empty. Emma helped the paramedics guide Julia out, her hands steady despite the whirlwind of emotions flooding her mind. Titan stood guard, unwavering. The K9 had found the hidden room that had held Julia captive, and his instincts had saved her life. "Good boy, Titan," Emma whispered, her hand gently scratching behind his ears. Later, as the crime scene team combed through the house, Emma watched as the pieces of the case fell into place. David Harper's plan, carefully concealed beneath renovations and fresh paint, was unraveled by Titan's keen senses. The story continues as Emma and Titan uncover more hidden rooms, more missing people, and the twisted pattern of Harper's criminal activity. Each discovery is met with Titan's unwavering loyalty, his instincts proving more valuable than any human detective could have ever imagined. Every hidden space, every meticulously planned crime scene, is slowly exposed, one room at a time. As they piece together the truth, Emma's bond with Titan grows deeper. She reflects on their past cases, the training that brought them together, and the unwavering trust she had placed in her K9 partner. This case would mark not only the end of a string of disappearances, but also the beginning of a revolution in how K9 units were seen and utilized. At a public ceremony months later, Emma and Titan are honored for their service. The legacy of their work reaches beyond the confines of their department, changing the way law enforcement works and inspiring others to trust their instincts, just like Titan did.